Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head out to Consett, which is a little bit to the west, or the northwest I should say, of Durham where I am, to the southwest of Newcastle as well. And this is a beer that was recommended to me by the guys at Market Hall Wines here in Durham, and they've always told me some good beers, and from what I gather this is meant to be a really good kind of traditional real ale type stout. So for this one we're going to go to the Consett Ale Works and we're having a taste of the Consett Stout. It comes in at 4.3%. On rate beer, I think it was an 87 that this beer had overall, so it should be an interesting beer. Looking forward to this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Consett Ale Works. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about the Consett Ale Works then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, the Consett Ale Works is based in Consett to the west of Newcastle and Durham. I'm not sure exactly what county that's in, if it's Northumberland or if it's still County Durham, but it's not too far away from either place at all. But the brewery was originally part of the Grey Horse pub, and it was bought in 2012 by Jeff Hind, who owns a lot of other pubs and breweries in the northeast of England, and this includes the James Cook Brewery and the White Swan pub down in Stokesley, a little bit to the south of Middlesbrough. But apparently this brewery was formerly called the Derwent Rose Brewery, and when Jeff took over they decided that they wanted to invest completely in a new kit. They put quite a bit of money into actually redoing the building and things like that, and they asked the patrons of the pub to name the brewery, and that was how they arrived at the name Consett Ale Works for it. But he said that he liked that name as soon as he heard it, pretty much. The head brewer at the brewery is Rufus Thompson, who was apparently taught to brew by consultant Andy Burrows. He'd been involved in quite a number of big breweries throughout England actually, and he helped them really establish this company. And for their artwork and names, the brewery lean on the fact that Consett was a very kind of industrialised town. They were quite well known for their steel production and things like that, so you can see the kind of steel girders and stuff on the artwork that they have on their labels here and things like that. And they've got, I think most of their beers, they do have another stout, but I think they've produced maybe around 15 or so different beers over the last couple of years, and I think their kind of signature beers, if you like, tend to be like golden ales and things like that. These guys are definitely more of a real ale brewery than a kind of craft beer brewery, if that makes sense. They do tend to stick more to the kind of English traditional beer styles than anything else. But from what I hear, as I say, the guys at Durham Wines told me that these guys do some really quite nice beers, nice sessionable beers. 4.3% stout, it should be a pretty interesting one. They did say that this was the best beer that they had, or this was their favourite beer that they had from the Consett Ale Works. So we'll give it a go and see how we get on. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. Nice and presented, as you can see, the kind of nice sort of steel girdery type thing around this. It says, Consett's history is forged from steel and our ales embody its past. Each one is brewed with passion and it's full-bodied in flavour. Consett Stout offers a bitter yet smooth taste thanks to the roasted malts that have been mixed into the highest quality yeast to create this rich, dark drink. And it tells you, mixed with the purest of water, finished with love and attention by our head brewer Rufus to create an ale that would quench the thirst of any steel worker from yesteryear. There you can see the Consett Ale Works badge on this one. That is also down here. Just checking that you're seeing that. Plain bottle cap on this one. This is a half-litre bottle, incidentally, 500 millilitres. Without further ado then, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. So yeah, let's get it out and into the glass. So there you go. As you can see then, and as you would expect from a stout, it's poured a nice sort of dark ebony kind of rosewood colour. There's a half finger of a frothy, it's kind of a beige head on this one. The tan, it's not really tan, definitely more of a beigey colour than a tan colour on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, it does look really quite nice. If I hold it up to the light, there is a little bit of a kind of ruby tinge to it. Definitely, when there's some light coming through the top, it goes a little bit more of a kind of mahogany colour more than anything else. But yeah, sort of ruby tinged mahogany edge to it, which looks quite nice. But it looks pretty much as you would expect from a stout style of beer. Let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. Oh, that actually smells quite nice. It's got a little bit of a kind of black malty quality. There's almost a little bit of an ashy note to it. I wonder if there's some Fugo hops in here. You can smell that ashy note right away, and that's always the telltale sign of the Fugo hops. It's got that kind of cigarette ashy type thing to it, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that's nice. But yeah, it's almost got this kind of tobacco note to it as well. But yeah, some sweet caramel in there, definitely some dark toasty brown sugars, a bit of chocolate, definitely. Some earthiness to the hops as well. There's a good bit of an almost nutty quality to this one as well, some kind of toasted nuts. But yeah, tobacco, sort of almost like cigarette ash or something like that coming out of this beer. I do suspect there's a bit of Fugo hop in there. Yeah, sugo this beer up and just smell it. It really does have that kind of tobacco-y note to it. That's really interesting. Brown sugar, treacle, like I was saying, a bit of roasted black malt. Some sweet chocolate as well, right enough. Earthy hops. And there is a wee tiny little bit of a red fruity ester, but I think the kind of tobacco, sort of nutty, toasty, nutty notes that are coming out of this beer are suppressing them a little bit. You can definitely smell a little bit of a kind of almost, I want to say like a blackberry, blackcurrant type thing coming out of this beer. But it smells nice. Take a little bit of time and just enjoy that aroma for yourself before you actually get stuck into tasting the beer. But yeah, it does smell really quite nice. So let's take a closer look at the taste for this one then. So this one's the Consett Stout from the Consett Ale Works in Consett. Not sure exactly which county it's in England, but it's near here. It's near to here in Durham. Thanks again to the guys at Market Hall Wines in Durham for the recommendation. Let's see how we got on. Slàinte, skål. Oh yeah, that is pretty nice actually. I do like that. I can see what they were saying with this. It's the thing you're going to notice about this one is that it's very, very smooth. In fairness, I'm maybe serving it a little bit colder than it should be. And you can see that with the kind of condensation on the edge of the glass. I'm probably serving it around kind of 6 degrees. You should probably serve this beer maybe around 8, 9, 10 sort of thing. So maybe it is a little bit colder than it should be, but all that will really happen there is the mouthfeel will thicken up and you'll probably get a wee bit more of the kind of earthiness and roasty parts of the beer. But as it is actually, it's nice. The thing you can tell with this beer right away, it's kind of how clean the water is. I always enjoy a beer that's got a good bit of minerally quality to it. That was one thing I really enjoyed about the Icelandic beers when I was reviewing those a good few years ago. But yeah, I like how this one comes across. So you've got a nice sort of you've definitely got a nice bit of bready quality. You can feel that sort of pale malty base just blanket the middle of your tongue. On top of that, it's almost got like a bit of a kind of brown bready note to it, and then you get some of these kind of sweeter toasty caramel notes. It has got a good bit of a grainy presence to it. It's definitely English malt that's in this, and you can tell that from the sort of grainy qualities that it has, but the brown bready note that this beer has is really, really quite nice. But it's a nice beer that. Just take a little bit of time, sugar it around your palate and let your mouth adjust to it, because it actually, for 4.3%, it does have a good little bit of complexity to it. The brown sugars are definitely building in presence as you go through it. There's a bit of sweet chocolate in the middle of there as well. The chocolate isn't too prominent in it, it's more about the brown sugars, this one for me, and they're quite toasted as well. They're not too heavy in terms of sweetness, I would say. So in the back corners of your palate, there's a nice smooth earthiness there. As you come a little bit further forward, it's got a little bit of a kind of herbal quality. You can detect a little bit of that kind of ashy flavour that I was talking about. That kind of ashy note is quite present in this one. That's what makes me think there's Fugo hops at play in here. Yeah, it's nice. I think there's definitely a little bit of that ashy herbal quality kind of underneath. It's always the grassy sort of herbal notes and some of the earthy quality that give away when it comes to English hops. As I say, when you come up to the front corners of the palate, it's just a little bit more floral. Around the very front curve of the tongue, it's got a little bit of a kind of grassy presence to it, which is interesting. I'll tell you something, it's a really easy drinker, this beer. I do like it. Maybe it's just because I have it a little bit colder than it should be, right enough. And I suspect that the sort of hoppy flavours would be a little bit more prominent, and you'd probably get a little bit more of the kind of grainy notes from it as well as it warms up. I can feel it warming up already, and that sort of grainy, bready presence that the malt base has is starting to build, pardon me, more and more on this one. The fruity side of the beer is quite interesting as well. Yeah, the fruity notes are nice. So behind the front curve of the palate, as I always say, that's where you get that little oily bubble where these nice fruity esters come out. There's a little bit of a figgy note to it. I think there's a little bit of a kind of blackberry flavour in there as well, and there's some kind of candied red fruit. So it always reminds me of those little heart-shaped sweets you get from the Haribo Star Mix, and that is definitely coming out in this beer as well. It's nicely done, this one. I would recommend that you have a go at that. And I can see why the guys at Market Hall Wines recommended this to me, because it's a real ale, it's a traditional English stout, but it definitely has a little bit of that kind of real ale presence to it. But yeah, it's as you progress into the aftertaste, the brown sugars are sitting there, some of the kind of bready, grainy notes from it are sitting there as well. The chocolate becomes a little bit more kind of prominent, and then you've got that sort of ashy, earthy quality from the hops as well. It's a really nice beer, this one. It's all about how the flavours kind of go together. It's not too punchy in any one particular regard, but it is just a nicely done beer, this one. So have a go at it for yourself and see what you think. In terms of real ale, kind of traditional type stouts, I think they've done a good job with this. So a thumbs up to Consett Ale Works for this one. Obviously, if you compare it to the kind of craft beer stouts and things that you're getting these days, it's a completely different ball game. But in terms of a traditional kind of lighter, easy drinking stout beer, for me, that one does the trick. So yeah, well done to the guys at Consett Ale Works for this one. Have a go at it for yourself and see what you think. In terms of the mouthfeel then, this beer's mid-bodied. As I said, I think I'm serving it just a little bit colder than it should be. Carbonation on this one is really smooth. It's got quite an oily mouthfeel, but at the same time, as it warms up, I've felt it getting just gradually more creamy. Malt base has a good balance between sweetness and a little bit of bitterness. It does become a little bit sweeter and smoother as you go further through it. Hops, there's a little bit of hoppy bitterness to this one. That ashy kind of herbal quality is quite nice that it has, and there's a little bit of a juicy fruity note to it as well. But overall, like I said, it's definitely leans more towards the traditional stout side of things rather than the kind of modern craft beer take. But in terms of a real ale type stout, they've done a good job with this, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again if I was in the pub. I'd probably want to try some of their other beers since I've already tried this one, right enough. But if I saw this on tap somewhere, it would certainly be in my mind to have a go at it again. So yeah, I think that's a good way, pardon me, to kind of finish off with this one. The Consett Stout, just a really nicely done stout, traditional type stout, and it does the job. So yeah, so anyway, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Thank you to the guys at Market Hall Wines for this recommendation. This has definitely been an interesting one to review for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed my take on it. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from the Consett Brewery. Hopefully I can do some beers from James Cook Brewery at some point as well. That would be interesting. My friend is doing his placement down at Stokesley, so I might be able to get him to pick me a few up. But this was a really nice beer to try, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. The Consett Stout from Consett Ale Works in Consett in the northeast of England. Too much time saying Consett in this video. Slàinte just now.